Do the Steelers need to restructure their defense after these first two rough outings? We'll talk about that in the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Steelers, your daily Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, bringing you your daily dose of all things on the Pittsburgh Steelers. As always, you can find the show on your favorite podcasting apps and on YouTube. Like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to get all of your daily Monday through Friday episodes, as well as our bonus content. We thank you for making us your first listen every day because we're your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to you across the app. Only on FanDuel. More on them later. It's Tuesday, so that means we're joined by the man himself, Alan Saunders. You know him from SteelersNow.com. Alan, we're here to talk about the defense. I talked about this briefly in sort of an overarching way when talking about the Seahawks loss. But this is now back-to-back games they've given over 300 yards, back-to-back games they've given up at least 3 touchdowns, and this defense has not shown the hype or the reason or the substance behind the hype that had been built up for it, and including by us because of what we saw in training camp and what we've seen how this team could look on paper and theoretically. And the question that I had coming out of watching more of the All-22, which we'll get to our stars and skulls grades later, by the way, is does this defense need a restructuring of where they place the biggest emphasis of their plays and who they're putting the most pressure on to deliver on certain plays?
It might, but I don't know that they have the players left to do that. Like, I mean, they're running out of buttons to push. Like, what I look at this defense and look, I'm not making an excuse for the injuries. But when you look at a defense that doesn't have Derek Harmon, doesn't have Alex Highsmith, doesn't have Joey Porter, doesn't have Deshaun Elliott, I mean, don't even have like Malik Harrison.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how much more you can do with the guys they had out there. And then you're looking at like, okay, Keanu Benton's struggling. Oh, is that Lamar's hurt? Yeah, forgot about that one too. Like the guys behind him are not playing better. Peyton Wilson's struggling. I don't think the guys behind him are playing any better. Juan Thornhill didn't have a good game. There literally isn't anybody behind him.
Yeah.
You can do some things differently, and I expect that they will. You got to stop the run first and foremost.
Yep.
You have to find a way to stop the run. And I don't know what that is because Chris, I watched that tape this morning, and it's ugly.
It's ugly.
Like, and you know, the worst part about it is that it's not a total down in and down out domination. They had a lot of stops, but the bad reps are so bad.
They're so bad it makes it, yeah.
That you got guys with reps so bad that the other guy that not only did they not make the play, they're taking the ability of the guys around them out of the picture to make the play too. You're getting a defensive lineman blown up. He's taking the guy next to him and the linebacker behind him out of the play too. It's like, well, I mean, it's like they're throwing mortars into the defense, like just guys blowing up holes. Like, and it's weird because they they're focusing on it. It was an issue last year. They spent all offseason talking about it. It was an issue last week. They spent all this week talking about it. I don't know what else there is to do about that. I think they probably do some things differently on the back end, but to me, it all starts with stopping the run and their inability to do so, their inability to keep Seattle one-dimensional. And I don't know that I have like a lot of good feelings about how that gets fixed quickly.
So here's my question to you, because I hear you on the quickly part, and the injury situation is rough. Alex Highsmith, it does appear that they dodged a bullet there. He won't be out long term, but he'll at least be out short term. Nick Herbig was already coming back from an injury. Maybe we see Derek Harmon soon. Maybe we see Deshaun Elliott in Dublin or after the bye week. And then maybe Joey Porter Jr. return. But there's so many question marks as far as who's even going to be available. But I ask this to you. Let's say after the bye week, they get back everybody healthy. Harmon, everybody's ready to go. Porter, the real starting defenses out there. Even if that happens, would this team still need a restructuring on defense? What I mean by restructuring to our listeners and viewers, what does Chris mean by that? The way the Steelers are playing right now, they're being aggressive. They're people say, oh, they should do more stunts and twists. They're doing stunts and twists. They're
top 5 in blitz rate, I think.
Like they're bringing
it. Football anyway.
Exactly. And they are trying so many different things right now. It is not for a lack of experimentation or imagine. Someone said, oh, there's no imagination in this defense. There's a lot of imagination. It's just not the execution. And this was why I said the biggest problem for this loss wasn't that they were out schemed. It was that their matchups that they thought they could win, they did not. Jalen Ramsey getting beat over the middle by Jackson Smith and Jigba on a 3rd and long. Keanu Benton just getting blown off the ball consistently. 3rd and 19, Peyton Wilson has Kenneth Walker dead to rights and just takes a terrible angle. And just key moments, like you said, because there's plenty of plays. They held Zach Charbonnet to less than a yard per carry, but then they were just giving up gashes of plays. And it's that's where I'm talking about, is saying that they're putting pressure on these corners to live on these islands, to be when they're being aggressive this way. Do they need to back off, reassess, and say, you know what? We got to approach this a different way. Jalen Ramsey's a playmaker, but maybe we have him play in more of a structured scheme where he's more of just a really good cornerback than we're trying to make him this superstar guy that's just going to create turnovers because he's that good.
I mean, I think the Steelers' defensive philosophy is the yards don't matter, get turnovers, and hold teams to field goals. I mean, that's basically the whole idea. And there's another whole idea here, too, that I think is actually more important than maybe the structure of the defense. I think they could probably do some things differently once they get everybody back. But I think if they stop the run and get a team one-dimensional, this plan works. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How many snaps has the Steelers defense been on the field where you knew it was a pass in 2 games?
Like, not too many times.
The last 3 against the Jets, and that was probably the only 3 against the Jets.
Yeah.
And maybe but here's Seattle was still even running the ball on 3rd and long. They ran on 3rd and 19. Mm-hmm. Like they were, because when you're giving up big plays in the running game, you don't get people one-dimensional. They still feel like they can run the ball. I'm not sure there was ever a snap. There was one. They were way backed up, and then Seattle called a timeout, and TJ was they left him one-on-one. And
that was the funniest timeout.
He was already past the time. I sit in the press box, I say, it's a sack. Yeah. They're lined up, I said it's a sack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Mike McDonald saw it too.
He was like, the franticness that they were like, no, don't let that happen.
TJ almost sacked him before they called timeout. That's how fast he was going to. But so, like, there are very few of those plays. I think what they're doing can work if they can make teams one-dimensional. But they have to stop the run first. And I don't know how they do that. But I'll go a little like a layer higher.
Okay.
This defense was supposed to be the reason this team is good.
Yeah.
So far, it's been a detriment to their success.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But 2 games in a row, Mike Tomlin deferred the opening kickoff. He punted 4th and 1 at the 50-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, if it doesn't change, oh, and by the way, Steelers going into Monday Night Football, 8th in points scored in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You got to coach it a little differently if the defense doesn't come around. You got to acknowledge the facts of the situation and say, this is not an elite defense. Mm-hmm. This is not the kind of team. Mike Tomlin's been coaching close games for 5 years with an elite defense and winning a lot of them, more than anybody ever has any business winning.
Mm-hmm.
He also, from 2015 to 2018, coached an elite offense and a terrible defense. He can do it both ways, but he has to recognize what's happening in front of him if this trend continues.
I agree. And that's where I'm talking about the changing of the structure where, maybe you're saying, hey, we're not going to send all these crazier blitzes. We're going to say, hey, bend but don't break. And that's kind of what they do now, but in a sense that maybe they're not sending as many crazy blitzes. They're keeping everything in front of them, and then they're eventually going to trust that you're going to make the small mistake, and then that's where things are going to happen. But I just wonder how this is going to play out because, like you said, this defense, the idea of the Steelers being good this year was that the defense was going to be a top 5 unit. They've been top 10 the last 3 years, but they were going to be top 5, top of the list, and their offense was going to be just good enough so that they could balance that out and be a dangerous team. Right now, you have an offense that had a really good game, had a not so good game, and then you have a defense that's had 2 bad games. And so that's who you have to figure out your identity. And we'll talk more about that in the Stars and Skulls segment as we get out our grades for the Steelers' Week 2 performance in their loss to the Seattle Seahawks. It's the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm Chris Carter. He's Alan Saunders. Stick with us. We'll be right back. But first, I want to remind you this show is brought to you also by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. We're also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop and on your phone. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app; it's a complete financial command center. You can do things and have Monarch do the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel free in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I linked all my accounts through Monarch and immediately spotted a few subscriptions I wasn't even using anymore. Cancel those and it saves me money every month. Monarch makes it simple to review my finances with my partner. We can look up budgets, goals, spending activity all in one place. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year only at Monarch Money. We're back here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm Chris Carter. He's Alan Saunders of SteelersNow.com. Alan, let's get to our Stars and Skulls grades for the week. As always, our grades go from 1 to 3 stars to 1 to 3 skulls. There's also neutral grades. If they're not on here, that means we gave them a neutral grade and they didn't have a significant impact left or right or up or down. So 1 to 3 stars, 1 star is a good player / a good day. 2 stars means you had a great player, a good day. 3 stars, elite performance and all pro, puts you in all pro considerations. In reverse, 1 skull is a bad play without redemption, but not an overall bad game, just a bad moment where you didn't get your get back. 2 skulls, 2 games, 2 bad is a bad games in the whole, and 3 skulls, all-time terrible. And there's also the dreaded bus ticket. And maybe there will be a bus ticket. Maybe there won't be, because some people ask about it every week. Every week, someone wants a bus ticket, Alan. You can't just wheel it out all the time.
Giving them out. The people will be giving them out.
Right. And it's like, yeah. Anyways, because it's a loss, we start with the skulls. We go to the 1 skulls list here. 1 skull list I have on the offensive line: Mason McCormick and Isaac Seumalo. I got Patrick Queen, Isaiah Loudermilk, Dan Aquale, Logan Lee, Juan Thornhill, and Calvin Austin. The offensive linemen, these guys in particular, I thought they gave up a few too many pressures and didn't counterbalance it, but not terrible stuff from them. Needed to be better, but could have been better. Patrick Queen, and I want to ask you, Alan, I feel like maybe I'm being too lenient on him, but he made a lot of plays, but then he got beat in some real bad moments. That 3rd and 9 blitz where he had Sam Darnold dead to rights, that's one of the biggest goof ups in the game. And he admitted it afterwards. He was like, I have to deliver on in that moment. But there were several other runs where, as long as he's not having a center right up in his face or a guard rushing up to him, he's going and making plays. Was I too lenient on Patrick Queen with this 1 skull grade?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the dude spent like 15 minutes in the tent with that rib injury. I think
he's
that's
tough,
enough
man.
time to have a minor procedure in there. Like, they might have had the bone saw out for all I know. I think he was pretty messed up. He didn't look good in coverage. I think that was the thing that really stood out after that injury to me, was that he didn't look great in space. He's a tough dude, but
he's tough.
I mean, like, he's playing through it. Peyton Wilson was playing through it. I don't know what was wrong with him. He got hit hard and then he was throwing up. I don't know. Thought I was watching semi-pro. Maybe somebody punched him in the jejunum. I don't know. Like it was ugly out there for linebacker. But when you got Carson Bruner, 7th round rookie out there playing reps, you got Logan Lee, last year's 6th rounder out there. You got Wyatt Black at like 40 snaps.
Yeah.
Like, this what's gonna happen.
It's getting thin. I put Loudermilk, Aquale, and Lee. Loudermilk really, he was only out there for a few plays, but he just didn't look good, and his injury could be pretty rough. Aquale, there was one play where I saw he got penetration, he didn't finish. And other plays where he just didn't see him do enough. Logan Lee, not too harsh on him. Just thought he could have been better in a few spots. But Juan Thornhill, I thought could have helped a little bit more over the middle, both in coverage over the middle and as a run helper. I thought he had a good, solid week 1. And like for all the problems on defense, I did not think he was one of them. I didn't think he was terrible in this game, but he could have been better. And then I threw in Calvin Austin just because he only had that one catch, and his tipping the ball to Pat Freiermuth spoiled a touchdown and turned it into an interception, which I know Caleb Johnson's play, which we will get to. I know Caleb Johnson's play is like the craziest one of the game, but that play by itself also had a huge impact in the momentum.
Yep, I think that's more than fair for sure.
So we're going to move on. I got two scholars, Troy Fautanu and Peyton Wilson in this game. Fautanu, I felt it wasn't just that he gave up the pressures he did. It was when he was giving them up, because there were some plays when I look back at the all-22, Allen, where Rodgers has a dude lined up. Like there's a guy wide open, and then Fautanu's guy is screaming in his face, and he has to bail, and he has to figure something out.
Freiermuth has an easy touchdown if Rodgers can find him. And the guy's around the edge and grabbing him on the back of might have been a horse collar, honestly.
Right. So we were debating this. Isn't it not a horse collar if you're in the pocket and you're a quarterback?
Well,
I know the play you're talking
about. Horse collar have to be out of the pocket? I don't know. I couldn't tell if he grabbed the pad or the jersey. Sometimes guys just get the jersey. You're allowed to grab him by the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see from the all-22 angle. Just so zoomed out.
That's where I had Troy Fautanu. I threw in Peyton Wilson. He did have a sack, and there were some good plays, but the 3rd and 19 play was just really bad.
I agree with this. I think the sack, and there was another good pressure too on top of the sack. He came free on a blitz in the 4th quarter. That was a nice play, forced a punt, I think. But yeah, I mean, not enough to the good column and too much to the bad, for sure.
I got 3 scholars. Who are they?
Keanu Benton and Caleb Johnson.
Cash money records. This man knows me. I should never play poker against Alan Saunders because he will just take all my money. But
no, you should totally.
It's like, wait, like let's do that like after this.
Yeah. What are you doing later?
Caleb Johnson. I mean, we don't need to dive. There's no analysis for this. That was just a boneheaded, stupid mistake. And listen, there was a part of me that did think this should be a bus ticket because it was bad. But bus ticket is literally get this guy off the team.
No, I don't want that. I gotta say, and I know you don't grade coaches fairly. I don't think he should have ever been out there. At no point did he appear to show any aptitude for that job. Like he wasn't doing a good job. In preseason, it looked like he was trying to get hurt. He just picked the nearest guy, ran as hard as he could at him, and created a violent collision. He fumbled against the Jets. I feel like this was a situation that was waiting to happen. I don't think he was put in a good position by the coaching staff. And so, like, that's he had 5 kick returns in college. Like, it's not like this is like some specialty of his. Mm-hmm. I understand that they're trying to let Jaylen Warren be the starting running back and not overload him with a whole bunch of stuff, but get somebody else back there. I just didn't think he belonged from get-go.
No, I agree with your assessment on this, particularly because I think, and this is just speculation, this is not a source thing, but I think that the Steelers were trying to get him just experience just running in the NFL and just getting out there, being active, so he's not just standing around on the sideline all game, because he wasn't going to be used early on in this offense because he still needs to improve as a pass protector and involving himself in the passing game, and honestly, maybe even involving himself in the run game. And so I think that they were trying to see, oh, well, if we put him in kick return, as long as he doesn't fumble the ball, we're fine. Well, last week he fumbled. This week he literally let the ball bounce off of him over his head and then into the end zone, and it became a touchdown. And that was, there were two plays that flipped this game around. It was the Calvin Austin tip that turned into an interception, and it was this play by Caleb Johnson. So I give him 3 skulls. Bus tickets again are like, he would have to do this like 5 more times for it to be busted.
If he's out there again on the kickoff, somebody else should be.
Someone else gets a bus ticket. I agree with that. And then my other bus ticket, Keanu Benton, which, I mean,
I think he's hurt, Chris. There was a report the last week of training camp that he was dealing with something, and he's been wearing an elbow pad on one arm. I don't think he's 100%. He hasn't been talking to us. Fine, fair.
He hasn't been
well, but like I just. He doesn't look like Keanu Benton from last year at all. Like it, it's one thing when Broderick Jones has struggled at times. Like we've seen some bad in his tape. So when you see it again, you kind of go, oh, well, that was Broderick Jones. This don't even look like Keanu Benton. I don't even know. So I don't know. That's some supposition by me, but there was a report the last week of training camp he was dealing with an injury. He is wearing an elbow pad on only one side. I don't know if you can keep playing him this way, the way they've been playing him, but there's nobody else. So I don't know.
I think that's the thing here. And there's a question that goes around online. Should they move him out of nose tackle, put that to wide?
Ain't gonna make any difference if he's getting driven 5 yards off the ball at end. It's just as bad.
Exactly, because they're still going to just run it right at wherever he is on the defensive
That's
line.
Like people put up the run chart. It's like, why don't they move TJ Watt around? It's like, they can see where he goes.
They'll just be like, okay, we'll go that way now.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not like they're just like in the huddle like this. Like, all right, we're gonna run right no matter what.
I'm right with you, but that's the one of the big issues I think the Steelers have right now is, again, the way they are structured to play on defense. They can't right now because Benton's getting blown off the ball so much. Loudermilk was getting blown off the ball so much. Equale, I thought got blown off less, which is why he got 1 skull.
I thought it was good in the pass rush, honestly.
I thought he was
Not
better.
That they need that from their interior defensive line, but I thought he was actually good at the pass rush.
If he was better in the run, he wouldn't have been on the skulls list. But I agree. That's why I didn't penalize him too hard. They need guys to step up against the run, and whether it's Benton or someone else, it has to happen. We'll see if Derek Harmon is coming back this week or Ireland or after the bye week. But we got to get to our stars because there were some stars in this game. Some guys that did their job pretty well. We'll get to that next year on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Chris Carter, Alan Saunders, stick with us. Be right back. But first, remind you, this show is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for all the big games with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 back in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet and get your shot at $300 in bonus bets to use all across FanDuel, only at FanDuel, FanDuel.com, and download the FanDuel app today. We're back here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Chris Carter, Alan Saunders, back on the show. It's time to do some stars. I know that whenever the Steelers lose, people are like, Chris, why does anyone get stars? No one deserves stars after losses. That's not how this works. We do give credit to people that make plays, but I want to see if Alan thinks I'm being too kind to some guys here because I do have a decent list of 1-stars. We started off, Zach Frazier was my lone offensive lineman. Didn't see him give up pressure. Thought he did solid. He was the one guy that really held things up. I thought about giving Broderick Jones a star, but then I saw some of the plays he gave up late. I gave him a neutral grade on the day. But hey, neutral grade for Broderick Jones might as well be a star considering his recent pass. But Here and there. Corliss Waitman, solid punting, got one inside the 20. DK Metcalf had a drop, but also had that touchdown. Pat Freiermuth did drop that one deep ball, but the other catch he made was pretty impressive. Cam Hayward, tip pass for the interception was big. They're trying to avoid him because he is the one defensive lineman that's doing well. TJ Watt, I mean, I know a lot of people are mad because he doesn't have a sack, but like Jack Sawyer's sack is basically his sack because
just due to Sam Darnold running away from 90 blindly into anywhere.
It was just so funny because like I put that play on Twitter like the night of the game. And I was just looking back at the replay, and like you could see on the CBS or Fox, whoever was doing the game's replay, the tackle, the tight end, and the fullback all just look at TJ Watt and they just follow him. And Jack Sawyer's like, okay, and he just I'll take that. So TJ Watt is doing a lot. He's also stunting and twisting, and there were quite a few plays, like the third and I forget how long it was the first third and long conversion for Jackson Smith and Jigba over the middle. TJ stunts up the middle, and he is one step from Darnold. If Ramsey just holds down that spot, he is able to. That's probably a sack, and that's a third down stop. TJ is much closer than people realize. I think the last two teams have done a good job trying to minimize him, but he's also making plays out there and causing plays for other people. Other guys just need to capitalize more. Also, Jalen Ramsey received a neutral grade for all those asking. So did Aaron Rodgers. But going through my one stars, TJ Watt, Darius Slay had a breakup, wasn't really picked on. Nick Herbig with his interception had 4 pressures. Zach Sawyer actually had 4 run stuffs. Didn't realize that live, and then had his sack. So I gave him credit for that. Not too big of a credit, but a credit. And then Darnell Washington for his 2-point conversion. Alan, got any problem with my 1 stars?
No, I mean this is a good list. Although Darnell's 2-point conversion was. Definitely push off, but
I mean, sure. He was just like
we'll allow him to get away with that one. I guess.
Right. I was looking at that like, well, you know, sometimes there's sometimes as referees, I do wonder if they like, I'm not giving him that flag. You giving him that flag? You can talk to him if you want like that.
He didn't need to do it. I think that's part of it too. Sometimes it's like he was going to catch it anyway.
Right. But yeah, so there's my 1 stars, nothing crazy there. But yeah, I think that it's interesting when I realized it in retrospect, all 3 of the outside linebackers who were healthy actually did kind of well. Not superbly, but well enough.
They made some good plays. It wasn't a defensive effort that was bad all throughout. There was just too much big negative. And so it's very possible to have a lot of good grades in a game like that, even if the defense overall doesn't perform very well.
All right, cool. We're going to do this in back-to-back. I have 1 2-star and 1 3-star. Who are they?
Now, this is tough because you already kind of listed most of the best players. Chris Boswell, 2-star?
Nope.
You don't have Balls on it? Is he a 3-star? Yeah, but you Boswell
is a 3-star.
I think I might have give Jaylen Warren a 3-star for this game, but they're both certainly deserving.
Jalen gets the 2. If he had finished that insane 65-yard catch and run with a touchdown, he would have had the 3. But he was a heck of a player. I think the other thing that held it back was just he didn't have 4 yards per carry. But Jaylen Warren, I wrote this in my grades. By the way, if you want to read these, if you're listening to these, you want to read these in like a print format or in a digital format, go to post-gazette.com. It's there in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette today. You can read my stars and skulls grades as well as what I thought of the college quarterback scene over the weekend at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. But Jaylen Warren, man, like, it's tricky because I do think that they are like people are saying, why don't they just play him all the time? I think it's because they don't want to wear him out because
they don't care. He's playing real good. Wear him out.
He's playing real good. But here's the thing: you wear him out, he gets hurt mid-season. It's just Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb.
I don't care. Play him. That sounds like living in your fears to me. He was the best player on offense the entire game, and he only had.
I thought he was the best player overall from scrimmage,
and he only had 36 snaps. 36 snaps. That's half. They had 62 offensive snaps. Well, it was a little more than half, but
who's down?
Get him in the game more.
Okay, I hear you.
I
I've been of the opinion
you don't even have to run him. Leave him in. Like, I don't know. He 65-yarder and he's out of the game for the 3 plays at the goal line. I'm like, I don't know. I
kind of got the goal line, but I thought that their plan should have been, hey, Darnell, you go that way. Hey, DK, you go that way. We're picking a jump ball somewhere. And
yeah, I mean, they tried to get cute with the little reverse screen thing that didn't work. I don't think cute is in this offensive line's playbook right now.
Right. Not yet.
Not yet. But I thought Jaylen Warren was really good. The whole offense, like, I mean, they didn't have a great game, but they played good enough that if the other 2 units played the way we expected them to play, they should have won.
I agree. And like, here's the thing. If the defense take off about 10 points from the defense, like we'll only say 14. You just take off 10 points, they allow 14 points on the game. And then you don't have the Caleb Johnson gaff. That's right in their wheelhouse. And on top of that, Aaron Rodgers, brought this up when I asked him about the red zone, because I said, like, hey, like, you guys use DK Metcalf and Darnell Washington. Do you want to do that more when you get closer to the end zone? He was like, he basically gave me an RELAX response, because he was like, look, we were perfect in the red zone last week. We were 1-2 this week, and the one was the one that got tipped by Calvin by accident, and we were throwing a touchdown. And so I was like, hey, touche, that's a good point.
Just kick a field goal there. Field the kickoff, and you're probably doing okay. Probably going to win the game.
Might even win the game, but
probably going to win the game. I would say if they kick a field goal there and they're just able to field the kickoff on the next drive, they're probably going to win the game.
There you have it. But Jaylen Warren, to your point, should they play him more? I'm of the camp. I'm like, you got to protect this guy, because I'm worried that he gets hurt.
I don't know why people don't believe that I don't know why everybody feels like he needs protected. Like, I know he's not the biggest guy. I don't care. Run him. I don't care.
Okay.
All
right.
Willie Parker was small. He's smaller, actually, because he was skinny.
Willie Parker's smaller, huh? I didn't think about that.
Skinnier. I mean, Jalen's short, but
that's where I'm at.
Skinnier. Like, he's sturdy. He's a sturdy dude. Like, there's a lot of muscle on that 5'8". Like, I'm not scared of him. Play him.
All right. Play Jaylen Warren more. Hey, he's the best player they had on offense and really on the whole team from scrimmage on Sunday. Maybe that is the answer. Then, of course, Chris Boswell, the Wizard of Oz, 3 stars. Another note that I had, that dude put every kickoff in play, and he's done that for 2 straight weeks.
I love how, like, have you watched him on those?
No.
He doesn't even look like he's trying. It sort of looks like a golfer's warm-up swing. Like he's just like up there, like, yeah, just a little boop, chip shot. There you go. And he's got it. Like before, when they're trying to kick it out of the end zone, those kickoffs were a lot of effort. He's just up there like, dink. All right, there we go. That'll work.
He's the Wizard of Oz. He does. It's ridiculous how consistent he is on all fronts. But there were our stars and skulls grades. Let us know if you agree, disagree with any of them in the comments. I totally won't read them. But if you want to read them in person and comment at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, go to post-gazette.com to read my stars and skulls grades. Alan, thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Let people know to find you, follow you, and get more of your work.
Saunders_PGH on social media. SteelersNow.com is where you can find my written work and my podcast, Steelers Morning Rush and Steelers Afternoon Drive, are on the Steelers Now YouTube page or anywhere you find podcasts.
Check him out. He's amazing. He is Alan Saunders. Alan, thanks for joining us. Thank you all for joining us here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, wherever you get social media. At Carter Critiques is always my handle. You can read my work at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, post-gazette.com. And you can find me here every day, Monday through Friday, breaking down the Pittsburgh Steelers right here on the Locked On Steelers podcast. Mike Tomlin talks at noon today. We'll be talking about what he said on the Wednesday episode here on the Locked On Steelers podcast.